like to invite our Guatemala team to come up. Guys, we had an incredible time. God was so gracious and so good and so tangible on this trip. And just like in service this morning, you know, like Holy Spirit always does, there seems to be a theme. Our trip kind of carried the same theme. So we're really excited to share with you. So I'm going to start with the younger kids. We'll go down the line and then I'll wrap it up for you guys. But G, so how was your trip?
Fun.
Did God speak to you or do anything for you on this trip?
Not that I know of.
Gianni was a great servant on this trip. He has a servant's heart, and he showed up in ways. And he's seen the people that not all of us really see. He had a heart for the people like the bus driver or the maintenance man that tended to the grounds. And he met those people and spoke to them and loved on them a little bit. So that was fun. Would you do it again? Would you do it again? Yeah? Okay. Z, what do you got for us, bud?
It was fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd God show up for you?
He just, I don't know. This is the first time I really heard him. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. And when we went to the little children's prayer house, I don't know what house that was, group home for children. Before then, I drew a picture of a little girl, and she was there. And I hung out with her the entire time, and we had a weird bond, and it was cute. And I miss her.
You guys have anything you want to add? Nothing you want to add?
Nothing? Okay, if you guys change
your mind. Yeah, well, we are just excited to be back. This is my first time ever out of the country. So what an experience it was. It was just a blessing to be able to go down with Cammie a couple days early, connect with some friends, and really get the tourist feel of what the trip was like. And little did we know, I think as a team, we got a little bit more of that. I think God was just so gentle with us, so sweet with us in our time that we were there, where he really just, I think we could all agree, he shook our expectations in multiple ways. So we got to experience the largest earthquake that has existed in Guatemala for like the last 10 years while we were all just on base. And we really didn't know what the Lord wanted to do with that, but we recognized kind of as we went back, and I feel like this is what the Lord wants me to share today. He's done so much with the weather that we're trying to figure out what truly he's stirring up in this body through the elements of the earth. And I think the one thing that we can take away is one of our leaders, Philip, said that when you are resting in the heavenlies and when you're walking in the heavenly places, the earth agrees with what's going on. And we feel like that's what's truly been happening through this body. So we kind of sat back and reflected a little bit of DC last year, when we didn't know that we were serving in our last set of worship, and we were just led by Julia in this prophetic dance. It's just not ironic that you're here today. We had this prophetic dance, and then the Lord just opened up the skies after a week of just beating down sun on us, and the rain came, and we had that vision we had that rainbow that covered over the Capitol building. And then later in the year for New Year's, Joy and Perry were sent to Washington, D.C. to attend a conference about relighting the lampstand, and how God then used their picture with the lampstand with the Capitol building in between, with like the filament kind of going through the Capitol building, and then the lightning struck and hit the Capitol building as they were there at midnight. And how then their trip to Turkey was kind of the ground that was being tilled and tended to with their prayer in the 7 churches, and how we went to Guatemala only to find out through that earthquake, and then how God is shaking things up, is that we're not just the nation that sends missionaries, that Guatemala and Adventures in Missions in Guatemala is taking native Guatemalans, training them up to be missionaries, and shipping them to Turkey to become missionaries. So it's just been really awesome to kind of see and to sit back and reflect with the Lord. And the time that I've been a part of this church, I know, and I'm always not here every Sunday, but the time that I've been in this church and the things that I've gotten to experience with everyone, how God has just been in each and every step, I think. We've just been holding on that God's in the details, and we can truly see that if we just take the time to sit back and look at what he's doing in this body and globally. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my big takeaway was something similar. We were all kind of going in expecting to like hit the ground running and sun up to sundown, just be hand on the plow, serving and working. And we get there and we're told to pray and to worship, and then to pray and to worship some more, and then to serve for a couple hours, but then to go and pray and worship. And we all kind of had this moment of having to adjust our expectations. And there was this moment with the team where we're starting to connect the dots. We're actually here on a prayer assignment. We're here to release worship. And the fact that half the worship team was there, and a lot of us are on staff or missionaries sent by Real Living, having this moment where okay, this is twofold. This is a gift from the Lord that he's letting us rest and worship and connect with him. And we're here to release something beyond the physical into this space. So then to have that moment where we're wait, Guatemala is sending people to the Middle East, and not only the Middle East, but to the 7 churches of the book of Revelation to start houses of prayer. That was just mind-blowing, especially since you guys just came back from Turkey to do that exact same thing. So the way that God was connecting the Guatemala team, the Turkey team, the base in Guatemala was just, it's something you can't make up on your own. It was solely from the Lord. And the piece that I want to share with you guys that is resonating with me right now, because there was so much that the Lord was doing in my heart. But when we were having that moment of talking through our expectations, it's wow, this looks different than what we were expecting. Something that Philip shared with our team was he was having a moment like that with the Lord too, and he was in the book of Exodus when Moses went up to Mount Sinai and the people were back down at the mountain, or at the base of the mountain, and they didn't know what was up with Moses. It was 40 days, and they got busy building a golden calf. I don't know, most of us might be familiar with that story, and they start worshiping the golden calf. And he said he had this moment with the Lord where he's why was it a calf? Why a calf? Of all the other types of idols you could make, why was it a calf? And he felt like the Lord said, what should be the sacrifice became the idol. What should be the service, the offering we're bringing to the Lord, actually became the thing that they started worshiping. And he said, how often, I have goosebumps, how often do we start worshiping the offering and start worshiping the sacrifice instead of worshiping God? So we had this moment where we're that is so good. And if God brought us to Guatemala to set some things straight, because so many of us are in leadership, so many of us are lead worship, and it's if we're worshiping the concept of worship, or we're worshiping the concept of sacrifice or service, then we have it twisted. So we started, most of our ministry was prayer and intercession and worship and growing in intimacy in our own walk with God, so that from the overflow of that, we can serve God. And then it's in its rightful place. And so, yeah, I feel that was a big takeaway for me and for our team. And just in general, it was really cool for me to get to be in one of my favorite places, a place where God has spoken to me and encountered me so many times in my life. There have been so many defining moments that happened for me in Guatemala as I could look back over my life. And to get to experience that with my church body here just really blessed my heart. And yeah, it's the whole blessed to be a blessing. We are blessed, and we got to bless the people of Guatemala in return. It was awesome.
So, Allie and I had a moment of unconditional love at the kids' home. I sat waiting for, they were doing their prayer time. A little girl came over, hugged me, and just laid in my arms and just put her hands in my hands. Ellie learned how to say, you want to dance in Spanish, and they went over and danced. And as soon as they were done, the little girl just looked at me like, I'm back for you. So I thought, after we left, I'll never see her again. We came back from Paramount, and I got off the bus and took one step, and she was standing there staring at me. They were there for soccer camp. So, and the Lord sustained me because I could not find my breathing medicine. So for 6 days, I was at 5,000 feet to 8,000 feet, and I got off the bus on Prayer Mountain, which is 8,000 feet elevation. My heart was racing. I said, okay, Lord, calm me. I got in the back of the truck, and I had no issues. Now, we're at 1,500 feet, so that's a lot. That air is thin. I mean, what Craig didn't say is we had 5 earthquakes while we were there.
So, for me, the trip, I think, is just the beginning. So I really don't have a stay tuned for the end testimony, I guess. But just, I had to make some notes because I'm still so raw. And as Cammie would say, tender. My emotions are tender at the moment. But wait, oh no, I lost my notes. Some of the things that I was just so completely thankful for and that were blessings was, you don't understand, the weather was a miracle. Nothing short of a miracle for me. I fully expected to go there and be rained on every day, and that's my least favorite weather. And we did not get rained on a single time. A single time. It sprinkled a tiny bit on Prayer Mountain, did some praying, and it stopped. The sun came out, and then I got sunburnt. But it is the rainy season there. And like Cammie said, there was a day that we were up on a mountain, and she said it's unheard of how clear it is this time of the year. So the weather was a complete miracle and made me feel the goodness of God for me personally. The other really goodness of God thing was they had a brand new ice machine when we got there. Now listen, my family knows my need for ice, okay? And God did too, and he met me. So that was another extreme, extreme blessing. You know, I got to go with my grandkids. Okay, hold it together. And this was such a blessing. I was so proud of them. They were phenomenal the whole trip. And I saw God work in them. I just pray I get to do it with all of them someday. So that was just super, super special. And I can't say enough about how grateful I am for the opportunity. All the team, I want to just thank all of them for walking this walk with us. I especially want to thank you, Katie. She was my adult roommate. And I just really want to thank you, Katie, for your listening ear and your tender, calm, advice and feedback. I really appreciate that. I want to really personally thank Craig. I have not ever seen a man with such a servant heart. He was there, he saw me, and he was very sweet. And so I'm really thankful for him. I feel like God shook the earth for me and my spirit and my spiritual realm. And he flung doors wide open that, quite frankly, I'm afraid to go through. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to lie, I'm teetering on fight or flight. So I have trust. God's taking me to a whole new level of trust, a whole new level of trust. And it's scary and it's and it's helped me. He spoke to me in a lot of ways that needed to be spoken of. And so I guess, yeah, stay tuned, because for me, this was the beginning of something. And I'm sure there'll be a testimony on the other side. So that's my testimony.
Oh, that was also my first time going internationally. I've been to the Bahamas, but it wasn't for a mission trip. So I really, yeah, the expectations were definitely shaken up. But it was so cool to see God on the other side of that. When we first got there, the word that like God dropped into my spirit when we were it was Sunday and we were going to the church there, was relational exchange. And I was like, okay, and we had heard how the Guatemalan people were very relational, that they don't just they don't tick off the to-do list and move on. They're not task oriented. And us in America, we're so busy, we're so task oriented. They really tap into that relational part of the Lord. So the Lord put that word in my spirit. And then the next day I woke up and the song My Beloved was in my spirit, which I don't know if you know that. It's an old 10th Avenue North song. I'm going to read some of the lyrics real quick, if you guys don't mind. Sorry, I didn't expect to do this, but I just feel like I should. Sing it. Okay, sorry. Okay, so it goes, love of my life, look deep in my eyes. There you will find what you need. Give me your life, the lust and the lies, the past you're afraid I might see. You've been running away from me. You're my beloved, lover, I'm yours. Death shall not part us, it's you I died for. For better or worse, forever will be. My love, it unites us, it binds you to me, it's a mystery. Love of my life, look deep in my eyes, there you will find what you need. I'm the giver of life, I'll clothe you in white. My immaculate bride you will be. Oh, come running home to me. Won't you let me make you my bride? You'll drink of my lips and you'll taste new life. 'Cause you're my beloved, lover, I'm yours. Death shall not part us, it's you I died for. For better or worse, forever will be. My love, it unites us and it binds you to me. It's a mystery. So the morning that song was on my heart, I went and had some quiet time with the Lord. And I felt like he said, you have been so busy trying to stay alive that you forgot to stay in love. And he said, but if you're not in love, are you really alive? And he said, I'll keep you alive, just stay in love. And so that wrecked me. And he also said, because Cammie said this phrase about, we think a missions trip, we're going to put our hands on the plow and just drive it all the way. Well, the Lord was like, you've had your hands on the plow and you've dropped your song. So I was really convicted by that and stirred up, and just the tender love of God to take us out of our environment as a team, to put us somewhere completely different, to quite literally shake us up, and to awaken us to a deeper understanding of love and relationship and his covenant with us and covenant with each other and his presence through the messiness of all of that. Yeah, it was beautiful. And I was really proud of all the team. I thought everybody was amazing. I thought everybody took steps of faith that they've never taken before. And I thought that was met with a lot of grace and understanding and love. So I'm grateful to be a part of it. And I was definitely marked by the trip. And I was so glad to take my kids along too. So.
I wrote a few things down. First, I want to say it was awesome to, I think, just build better connections with the team. For me, it was like everybody's my church family, but it was really cool to like have 3 of the youth come with me, 3 of my little youth group kiddos. It was awesome to connect with you guys, and because it's like we connect with each other on Sundays, but only for 2 hours. So to be together for 6 days together was really, really special to me. We played Mafia. Anybody know Mafia? Well, we played Mafia literally for hours every night and just had the best time. I enjoyed that so much with you guys. And the adults got as crazy as the kids sometimes too. Yeah, that was really special. Also, I really felt the grace of the Lord over my life because we had to get up at 6 a.m. every morning. So I felt God's grace and strengthening in my body for that. So praise the Lord. And then this is more like Cammie's testimony, but I feel like we have to share it to be. So we went to this thrift store called Mega Paca. Everybody say Mega Paca. Mega Paca. That's how they say it on the loudspeaker. It's like every 10 seconds. Mega Paca. Anyways, it's like a huge thrift store, but our kids made like prophetic art that we passed out to the locals or to the employees there to minister, which was really, really cool. I was able to speak with one of the employees there. I was grateful that I got to use my broken Spanish, as broken as it is, but it's fun to be able to connect directly to people through their language, so that was really special to me. But on the way out of Megapaca, Cammie felt led to go over to the racks that were like outside of the store after we were leaving. And she connected with this woman named Lupia, and Cammie was using the phrases that she knows in Spanish. 3 phrases, doing very well. But she can tell that the lady was connecting and wanted to speak more with her. So Cammie like waved me over because I was the only one that was kind of spoke Spanish. So she waved me over and we started talking, and she was just the sweetest lady. And as she like came out of the from the rack to come over to us, we noticed that she was walking with a cane. So we asked if we could pray for her body, and we asked what happened. And she said she had this terrible accident when she was 28 years old in 91, and she's been living with this. She had this surgery, and her leg was pretty deformed because of the surgery, so she walked with a cane. So we prayed. We asked if we can pray that God would heal her in her body, because we believe that God wanted to heal her. And she said, she actually very sternly said no. She said, I don't want healing for my body. I want healing for my soul. And I said, that's beautiful. But I said, I feel like God wants to do both in you today. And then she said even more sternly, she said, no, I don't want healing for my body, because God has used me over and over and over again to lead people to him through my disability. And I said, that is beautiful. And we asked if we could pray for her in English, and Cammie just stuck it in. She's like, God, if it's your will, just heal her in her body. And she didn't get a physical healing that day, but we got to pray with her, and it was the most beautiful encounter. And then she said, can I pray for you? And she started praying over us in Spanish, and it was the most powerful prayer. You can tell she was a prayer warrior. If Miss Marie grew up in Guatemala, this would have been her. A powerful prayer, woman of prayer. And she started praying over us. And it wasn't just this little prayer. You can feel the anointing on her. And she basically said a lot of beautiful things, but she was sending us out. She said, because I can't go because of my disability to go to the nations, I'm sending you out with a double portion. And she was commissioning us to do what we're doing. And it was the most beautiful time. That was probably my favorite encounter with a local person in Guatemala. And I asked can I get a picture? Can we get a picture to remember? And she said, you can have my number. So Cammie got her number on WhatsApp, and they've been connecting, and it's really, really, really beautiful. So that was probably my favorite encounter. And my favorite quote, I love culture. I love foreign language. It's one of the reasons I started learning Spanish. But there's a quote that says, if you speak to a person in a language that he knows, you speak to his mind. But if you speak to a person in a language in his own language, you speak to his heart. So I believe there is power. I think all the team were like, we need to learn Spanish. We need to learn Spanish. Because it is special. Like when I tried my best. It wasn't perfect. I could actually tell another funny story. What time is it? Just for the members. But yeah, it was awesome to be able to speak directly to people. But this one time we were at the kids' house, and I was coloring with this little boy, and we were coloring a picture of Jesus. They had a story about the pool of Bethesda, so it was like Jesus healing the guy with the mat, the paralytic, and I said something like, "Don't Jesus and I look a little bit alike because I have long hair and a beard just like Jesus." And I pulled my hair down, and he looked at me, and he said in Spanish, "Tú eres una mujer," and I said, "Sí," and he looked so confused when I said that. And it took me a minute to compute what he said. He said, "Are you a woman?" In Spanish, and I said yes because It took me a second to like, what did he just say? So I just said yes, like nervously, because I'm trying to prove that I know Spanish. Yeah, to a 4-year-old. And then after I realized because he looked so confused when I said yes. He said, and then I said, "Oh, no, I'm a guy. Like, just the way Jesus has long hair and a beard. He's a man. I have long hair and a beard. I'm a guy." So we cleared it up. I was grateful for that. But that was a good memory for me. I could go on, but I think that's good.
Guys, it was incredible. I think, like I said, there's a theme, and the theme, well, there's two, but the tenderness. I mean, we all got pricked in a way that if we don't walk away different, it's our own fault. When we got there, on Sunday morning, we went to bilingual, is that what they say it? How they say it, a bilingual church, which was an incredible experience. And the gentleman that spoke, he had talked about tradition versus relationship. And I think that, looking at the timeline of events, even in the past couple months, we could even go back to the DC trip like Craig did, but Joy and Perry have been spearheading, trying to find my words. Everything that's happened has been very intentional, and they have been plowing away and pioneering, I think is a word that we used yesterday, for this season that we're walking into right now. I don't believe that there's any more delay. I believe that we are in a new season. And I think one of them said earlier about, I think maybe it was Joy, about tools this season needing new tools. And I think that this is exactly what I'm trying to say with this as I'm talking in circles. What's leading us? Is it our traditions? Is it our mindsets, religion, or is it our relationship with God? Trust is a huge part of that. That's scary. That's scary for me. This missions trip is something I did to meet a need in my son's heart. He felt the need to go to Guatemala. I said, sure, I will fund you to go to Guatemala. Any of you. I didn't want to go. But I went. And I went scared. And my expectations were rocked. And I will never be more grateful for this experience. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't want to come home. But so I just want to challenge us. This also piggybacks on what Cam said about the calf. They took off all their jewelry and all their stuff, and they melted it together. The things that were supposed to enhance them, the things that were supposed to be blessings to them, became what they worshiped. And I want to bring that same concept to your relationship with God. What are you letting call the shots? What filter are you doing life through? A filter of tradition, a filter of religion, a filter of fear? This quote the pastor said, I loved. It said, your traditions, and I'm gonna change that to traditions, religion, mindset, whatever, become the chains when we use them to measure ours or other spirituality, and we use them as an excuse not to obey Christ. I could have said, I'm not meant for missions, right? I will happily fund for Kate to go in my place. But I knew that God was stirring something in my heart, and I had to be obedient. I chose relationship, and I didn't let that keep me bonded here in fear. And I mean, I had so many good reasons not to go. We have so many good reasons not to trust God, right? We have so many good reasons to say, I'm scared, I've been hurt, I've had my hand bit off, I've experienced loss, I'm in grief. We have relational grief, actual physical death, the levels of grief that we experience in everyday life. We all have a reason not to trust God. But what is the cost? What are we missing out on? Are we living? Have we lost our love? So that is what I was challenged with in Guatemala. You know, we got to go to a place called Prayer Mountain. It was a terrifying experience. We were like over 8,000 feet, right? And we made it to a certain point where the bus dropped us off, and then we all had to get in the back of like S10 size 4x4 trucks in the bed of the truck. Now, anyone that knows me, I'm a rule follower. Wear your seatbelt, make sure your car seats are in right, do all the things. Well, my son and all these people are in the back of trucks going up a mountain at an incline that I'm like, Jesus, please don't let this truck flip over. So we get up to Prayer Mountain, and that alone would have been enough to say no. I mean, I was challenged to do things scared so many times on this trip because I don't want to miss out. I want what God has. I want this season that has been pioneered for and fought for, and thank you for your obedience. I don't want to miss that. We don't have to pioneer and fight to the capacity that the past seasons have. There is a grace for expedited everything right now. I just listened to a testimony yesterday of somebody that got saved, baptized, and was starting to be discipled in a 1-hour meeting. It is time. It is time to do it scared. One of my favorite quotes is, courage is not the absence of fear, but rather that something else is more important. What is more important? Sometimes we get scared and we think to ourselves, God can't be in this. Because if God's in this, I'm going to feel good, right? It doesn't always feel good. We weren't promised it was going to always feel good. It's going to be hard and it's going to suck. There are moments that do, but I promise you, it sounds cliche, but the word is real. God works all things together for good for those who love him. He is in it. So do it scared. That's my takeaway. Do it scared. So, yeah, well, I actually wanted to, if it's okay, to have a time of prayer. Yeah. So I just, what's that? Habitanago, yeah, that was pretty crazy. But I just, so I want to challenge us with that. So if there's anybody that's struggling with fear, if anyone's struggling to say, okay, God, I'm going to do it scared. If anyone knows that there is something God is calling you to do, or there's pain and hurt or grief or anything that's keeping you from your yes, if you would stand up, I just want to bless you guys. And I just want you to come into agreement with that by standing. So Lord, we thank you. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you that you are present. We thank you that you are shifting things, that you have shifted things. Guys, I got to experience an earthquake. Let's talk about how I got to tangibly feel God shake things up, guys. I don't shake things up. So Jesus, thank you. Thank you for shaking things up. thank you that you are shaking things up in the heart of every single person that stood here right now giving their yes. Thank you that they will not operate in fear any longer. Thank you that when that moment comes and they have a choice to make, yes or no, that they always choose yes. That becomes an automatic muscle memory response, that they are walking with you under your covering, Lord, and that you will guide them. Lord, thank you that you are that you're doing this in them. And we just love you so much. So I just bless you guys with that. I bless you with the courage to do it scared. In Jesus' name.